Hi, everyone. Welcome to Live from the Pink Couch. I am Cheryl Grace, and I am the host of this web series that helps four extraordinary professionals get to their next level of fabulosity as it relates to their careers. So we have our, what I call hashtag next level tribe, because they're interested in getting, to the next level, who come from all walks of life and have different career paths. They each have created their pink elephant goals, which is your biggest, most audacious goal that you have to lean into in order to accomplish. So you got to lean into your faith, and you have to be able to ask others for help. And that's what we do here live on the Pink Couch. We give you the help that you need to reach the pink elephant goal that you are aspiring to achieve. And we do so by having me on as a regular coach, and also bringing on guest professionals and coaches who can help each of our individuals with their respective efforts. As a member of the hashtag Next Level Tribe, you get booted out of the tribe once you accomplish your goal. So this is the only tribe where it is a good thing to be booted out of. And as soon as you do accomplish your goal, poof, you're gone. We wish you well. And we narrowly focus on the remaining 3, 2, 1. Okay? So we have homework assignments that each hashtag Next Level Tribe member is expected to complete each week. And I encourage you who are watching us, those of you who are watching us, to ask questions if you are finding yourself in any similar situations like our hashtag Next Level Tribe members are. So without further ado, I am going to begin by introducing you to our guest coach. His name is Carl Ankrum, and they call him the Media MD. So let me give you a bit of a background about Carl. And I think once I share this information with you, it'll be clear who he's here to coach. At least our hashtag Next Level Tribe member is going to know. So Carl is a business owner. He's been in the business for 25 years in the media industry, doing video, photo, sound, and media production and consulting. His motto is, if you practice your craft and put in the work beforehand, when the actual task comes, you'll be ready. So Carl, welcome to our platform.
Thank you.
I'm really glad to have you here. Now, I know that you know who you're coaching, and by now she has guessed it as well. So Christian, yeah. All right. So I want to first introduce you to Christian. Christian is our Career 2.0 star. She was a professional makeup artist for 14 years, Carl. And she specialized in television, commercials, print advertising, and corporate media. She's worked with celebrities and major brands and corporations. Now, her pink elephant goal is to establish a photography branding business that earns $60,000 in revenue in year 1. Kristen. So her homework for this past episode was to set up 3 informational interviews with photographers in business who have been in business for more than 6 months, and inquire how they started setting up their rates and when they started to increase their rates, because Kristen has had a problem with setting rates and asking for what she's worth. So Carl, she's also supposed to list out for us this week what things scare her and what she's afraid of. And she may share a couple of those with you, because maybe you experienced some of those same fears when you first started. And lastly, she was going to affirm that she is worthy of asking for her worth. So the way this is going to work is I am going to turn the screen over to the 2 of you and let you all have a conversation. Kristen, this is the time to ask everything you need to ask of an expert who's been doing a fabulous job of this. And I will also, Carl, while you guys are talking, I'll pull up her website so you can take a look at her website.
I already checked her out.
Oh, you did? Okay. All right. Well, Carl, that's why they call you the Media MD. Okay. So I will turn it over to the two of you.
All right. Thank you, Cheryl. Hi, Carl.
Hello, lady.
All right. Are we supposed to, am I to ask questions?
Yes, yeah, so, no. Well, let me start off with this. So one of the most important is my opinion. Everything that I say, I typically am always saying in my opinion, because the reason I said this is because even though I've been doing this for 25 years, I've been in the media production business for over 25 years. I've been doing photography a little over 10 years. I started off doing sound work, then I moved to video, then I moved to photography. And with all three of those things, I do a lot of consulting and media productions in general, whether it's a conference, whether it's a seminar or, some kind of workshop, stuff like that. I do a lot of things like that. So in general, when you think about upgrading your business, it's always going to be fear, but you can't just let it stop you. Whatever that fear is, I like what the goal that Cheryl just said. You interviewed like 3 people. It's always best to ask as many questions as you possibly can to determine what's going to help you get to that next level. So I looked at your website. So what do you really want to focus on?
Branding.
How are you going to say that again?
Branding photography.
Okay, so branding photography with regards to a product or with regards to people and their services?
Personal branding, yeah, their services. So working with, small business owners, entrepreneurs.
Okay, so how have you determined that you're going to advertise, so to speak? You're going to do it through social media? You're going to run a bunch of ads on Facebook and Instagram or online, or hook up with people who are already influencers? What are you thinking?
So far as advertising, what am I thinking? Obviously social media, networking. Now that things are opening back up, they'll give me the opportunity to, start going to different networking events, be able to kind of pitch my services. Yeah, that's kind of as far as I've gotten though. I've actually been pretty fun. I've been pretty fortunate. I've just been kind of doing this, just here and there, and the clients that I've had, they've all just kind of fallen into my laps because of the contacts and whatnot that I have through my career as a makeup artist. So it's been a lot of word of mouth, and then posting my photos on Instagram and Facebook. I've been contacted. So yeah.
Okay. Well, so one of the things that I would say is that one of the main things you'll hear me say in any of my posts or videos when I go live or whatever is I sell an experience more than I sell a photo. Because obviously, might be a surprise, might be not. I'm in Chicago too, obviously. So we can certainly hook up whenever you need to. I mean, right now I'm in Orlando on location, but I love that. But I'm in Chicago. So anyway, so we can certainly hook up. But the main thing that you have to think about is, in my opinion, is to sell a service. What's the experience going to be different with you than it is going to be with anybody else? There are hundreds or thousands or whatever photographers in Chicago. If you do a post, how many times have you seen a post on Facebook where say, hey, I need a photographer? And there's hundreds of comments because everybody's tagging everybody that they know. Now, I get tagged quite often, and I always have the exact same response to every single person I get tagged on. I thank the person who commented, who put my name, and then I send a direct inbox to that person. I say, hi, my name is Carl. I was tagged on one of your posts. I said, you're going to get a lot of it. You're going to get a lot of great suggestions. Here's my website. If you have to have a talk, let me know. And I'll leave it at that because there's so many photographers. But what you have to determine, what Kristen has to determine is, okay, how am I going to set myself apart? Yes, your product has to be good, obviously. The photography has to be good. And when I looked at on your website, I know you're working on transition to the one that says Creative Studio, but the one with just your name, that one that has some very clean work. Now, in my opinion, it wasn't as much content as I would like to see. Typically when someone wants to hire someone, they need to look, not exhaustive, but a lot of content based upon what they're looking for. Because if they don't see themselves potentially, they may or may not think of you as narrowing down to using you as a photographer. On my website, and it's just themediamd.com. On my website, when you go to photography and video, it is literally an amazing variety. It's a couple weddings, it's a couple of events, it's a couple food shots, a couple product shots, it's a couple several modeling shots, some fashion stuff, some behind the scenes stuff. I mean, it's literally almost any possible area that anybody who's looking for something, they can look at. I don't have any sports on there. I just thought I got to add some sports content to it. But it's literally whatever you are interested in doing, you want to make sure you have enough of that content. Now, if you're going to stick with brand photography or a personal brand, that can be so exhaustive with regards to how you're going to show that, because it's literally just lifestyle photos. Or if someone is a chef, for example, they might have, some of their products, some of their cooking, their food or whatever, or in the kitchen. Because brand is typically lifestyle, there's not much variety you can show with regards to why someone should choose you. So then what I would suggest, in my opinion, then I would probably say, hey, let's put together some brand packages for that, where you're talking about somewhere, hey, we're going to do some basic in-studio headshots, but then we're going to take you on location to certain things, whether it has to do with branding to a location like Chicago. Is it a Chicago thing that you're doing? So you want to take them downtown Chicago or what have you. I heard you mention you had a studio. Where's your studio at?
In LaGrange.
In LaGrange? Okay, so then based upon that, you have to determine, okay, are people going to be willing to come out to LaGrange, or are they looking for a city look, or whatever it is? How many square feet is your studio? Do you know, Pam?
A little more than 1,200, I believe.
Oh, that's good. So you got plenty of space, space for a couple, paper backdrops and whatever. But then you just determining what's going to make Kristen set apart from everybody else with regard to the experience. Yes, you're going to show them great photography. Yes, you're going to get a great product, but how is the experience going to be with Kristen, and how is that going to separate you? I tell everybody all the time, when you come into my studio, when you get your photos back, it is all about the experience. You're going to love your photos, obviously. You're going to love your video, obviously, but you're going to love even more than that, the experience and getting your content. I don't take all day, getting people their products back. I mean, yes, I had some issues where stuff got back late, sure. But for 9 times out of 10, going to be zero issues. And that's the experience that you want to make sure that you're able to give your clients and potential clients.
Okay. So I just kind of taking some notes here. But yeah, so far as with my website, it's in the very beginning stages. So obviously my goal is to officially launch in May. So the website now, that's pretty much just like a landing page. So what my intentions are to have it to where each one of those, you can click on each one photo and then do like a case study for each one of those people. So
that's good.
Yeah. So then it would show the, selected maybe about 10 images from their branding shoot. And like I said, full case study. So that's my goal for the website. And then obviously having a lot more content about branding photography and the purpose and value of it. So yeah, it's in the very beginning stages though right now.
Oh, no worries. So with regards to hitting 60,000 and when and how long?
And I actually kind of revisited that goal, and I'm not sure if I really want to necessarily focus on a number right now. I'm going back and forth.
Can I ask why? This is Cheryl. I'm inserting myself as the coach. Can I ask why you're hesitant?
I knew you were gonna. I'm still I'm still working as a makeup artist. So this will be, kind of a gradual transition. And just basing, once I did the numbers, and I did like a pricing calculator to kind of figure out exactly how much that I would need. It is feasible, but it would be a lot. While I'm still kind of doing both, until it would be totally feasible if, that was strictly doing photography. So
why are you transitioning from makeup to photography?
Why am I transitioning? I've been doing makeup now for 14 years, and I guess I'd be considered like a big fish in a medium-sized pond here. Like, been doing very well with it. However, I'm just, like I said, it's been 14 years, and I
just want to do something else. Okay.
Yeah, it's still something creative, something that would afford me to kind of not totally leave that, behind. But yeah, I just want to, it's just time for
Carl. I'll say that our Career 2.0 mentee is the individual who has decided it's time to try something new, and launch on a new career path. And
Okay.
Kristen is our Career 2.0. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that at the beginning.
Oh, no, no worries, no worries. Well, so this is what I would say then, Kristen. Okay, so how many? Kind of a pop quiz, whatever. How many weeks in a year?
52.
52.
I'm gonna help you out.
Thank you.
Okay, so
I know how hard it is to think under pressure. It's
No
like,
worries,
come
no worries,
on,
no
y'all.
worries,
You
no
throw
worries.
the guy at me, and now you're giving me a pop quiz. I'm helping
No
you out,
problem.
Kristen.
Thank
I
you,
get it.
So here we go. So 52 weeks in a year.
Yes.
So 52. So $1,000 a week is $52,000. Not including taxes and whatever else. It's just to say $52,000 a year is $1,000 a week. So if you want to do 60,000, you have to do a little bit more. Excuse me, a little bit more than $1,000 a week. So for that $1,000 a week, or let's say it's 1,200, whatever the number is, you have to determine for yourself. Okay, how many photo shoots can I do in a week? Or you just kind of make, okay, I need to be about $4,000 a month or $4,500 a month or whatever that number comes out to be. So then you have to say, okay, what is my price point going to be for a photo shoot? Is it going to start at this price? If someone just needs a basic package, or if they just need some, let's say they just need some headshots. Well, that's not going to cost as much as obviously getting the full brand package as far as in studio, on location, whatever. But then you have to determine for yourself, okay, hey, I'm going to charge X amount of dollars for a 1 hour shoot or for a 2 hour shoot. And after I do that, after I'm with that client for 2 hours, how much more time am I spending editing the photos? Are you going to send the photos out to be edited? I don't edit my photos anymore. I haven't edited in a long time. I've spent thousands of dollars, like literally in about 20 different editors before I found the ones that I have. I have 2 sets of editors. I have one set of editors, which is the basic stuff, which is pretty good. And then I have another set of editors, which are very high-end stuff based upon what the client is looking for and the price point that they're at. So for me, I know pretty much that, how much time I'm going to be spending once I'm done. Because once they give me the photos back, I still do some of my own light touch-ups. They get me about 80 to 90% of the way. But with regards to cleaning it up, with regards to editing, you have to determine for yourself, how much more time am I going to have to spend outside of that 2 hours or 1 hour or 90 minutes, however you do your breakdown, so that you can then say, okay, if I'm charging if I'm bringing in $1,000 a week, how much am I spending out in time, or is it all going to me? And then you have the rent for your studio or whatever else, or however you want to do that. But then you can then say, okay, my price point needs to be this. I need to be charging this amount, X amount of dollars for this time, X amount of dollars for this time. And then you say, hey, okay, I need to make 5 photo shoots a month or 6 photo shoots a month. And then you break that down and say, okay, yes, ma'am.
Let me ask you this, for Kristen, because when you are hesitant, when you're new and you're hesitant to start asking for a set price. So let's say that rate comes out to be, I don't know, was astronomical or was normal, but how do you get the confidence to make the ask for that rate?
That's a question of having the content. That's what I was saying earlier about not seeing enough content on her page. So if anyone goes to my website, they will see.
But how do you get the content if you don't have the?
Oh no, then you just got to be shooting. So now that was like not my next question, but more along the lines of, so the people that I saw on your website, Kristen, how did you get those photos?
Literally just have come through me, word of mouth.
Oh, okay. So now what I did,
media.
That's fine. So what I did 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, man, I called 2 friends and I had them give me, who are influencers. I said, I need 10 people on this certain weekend. And they each got me like 7 to 8 people that I shot for free, just so I could build up content. I did them all on one day, or 2 days. I broke it down to 2 days. 2 days. One 6 or 7 people came on one day, and 6 or 7 people coming on there. So I had 14 photo shoots, of which I was able to get all knocked out on a weekend. Then now back then I was editing it myself. And what's funny is I look back at those photos, I'm like, ooh, Carl, I'm grateful to come a long way. But then you have to say, okay, hey, are there some people who I really like, some models, or hey, I can do the makeup on them and then do the photo shoot? You then have to determine, okay, how am I going to build up all this content? Or even if you reach out to a few people, hey, let's do a collaboration, you know, through Instagram or through Facebook or whatever. You know, I get a lot of invitations for collaboration. I don't do very much anymore because I really don't need them. My portfolio is very well stocked. And this is something I have not done before, and that is like really impressive. And then I really don't take too many collaborations because it's just not worth it for my time anymore. But then for yourself, like I said, determine how you can do that.
I did.
All right.
And I just thought about some. I'm sorry, Cheryl. No, but I did put out like a casting or whatever. There was, I think, 2 women that are on the website that it was. That I got through putting out a casting, I believe in like a Facebook business group or something like that.
Okay,
so my intention were to do that again so that I can really, you know, kind of like a portfolio building is kind of where I'm at right now. So like you said, to get more content.
And then document every single part of it.
Oh yeah, I was going to say we got time for one more question, and also we're going to make sure you all are connected so you can have a one-on-one conversation with each other, because I know that we caught you off guard, Kristen. But one of the reasons I do this, this is the reason I catch all of y'all off guard at some point, is because you have to be ready to have this conversation about what you say you want when you run into somebody who starts asking you questions. And they may know more about your industry than you know, and you need to be able to just start talking about it confidently, okay? So but you will have an opportunity to talk to Carl after you've had an opportunity.
You can come by the studio, you can come by wherever you need to.
Yeah, okay. I would absolutely love that.
So go on, Kristen, and ask one last question.
One last question. Well, I guess I know the answer to this question, but I just need to shoot. My problem right now is just the fear. And obviously I still don't feel as confident as I should with the technical aspect of photography still. So the offer to come by the studio, I definitely will be taking you up on that. But how did you get over, when you first started, how did you get over the fear?
Okay, so what happened with me, so way back when I first started, we had this thing called a sitting fee. It was $125 sitting fee. And that's when you came into the studio, it was $125 to shoot. And then we had extra packages to purchase this and to purchase that. So what happened for me is because I had already been doing video and sound, my prices were already what my prices were. Now I lowered them a little bit because photography is not as expensive. But what ended up happening for me was I said, okay, if so-and-so is going to charge $250, then I can only charge $150 or $175. And as I got more and more experience and more stuff, and in all honesty, when my stuff got dope, I was like, okay, I know I'm better than old boy over there. So I can charge $275, $375. And what I do is I literally just have to do it. Oh, trust me. I go up on my prices every single year. On my birthday. My birthday was January 15th. My prices go up between $50 to $75 every year. I don't care what I'm doing. I don't care what it is. My prices go up every single year. And every single year, I'll be like, okay, they don't buy. They saw that just a few months ago, my price was this. Now my price is that. You know, it's terrifying. But here's what ends up happening. You end up getting a higher level of clientele that is able to pay for that. And it's a lot easier, and you're able to hone your skills a little bit. You're able to take more time with it. But once you do that, you'll find that price point gets you to a different type of clientele that is so much better for you. Unbelievably so. Trust me.
Okay.
Excellent advice. The birthday, I like the birthday too. I think I'm going to start incorporating that and increase my rates on my birthday. That's because then you'll always remember to do it. It's a gift to yourself. Yes, Kristen, it's a gift to yourself. That's what I was saying. Yep. Wonderful. Carl, great information. Thank you so much. We, again, are going to connect the two of you so that you have each other's information. Kristen can reach out and ask you more questions. Yes?
Yes, please. I'm a little more prepared.
Feel free to give her my phone number, my email address, whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm 100% available to you, Kristen.
Awesome. Thank you.
So we can share with our guests on who are watching us live and in post-production. Carl, what is the website we should send people to for you?
TheMediaMD.com.
The Media, M as in medicine, D as in doctor.
That's right. It's
MediaMD.com.
Yep, I'm a media MD.
All right, he's the Media MD, y'all. So Carl, thank you so much for joining us on your vacation, no less. So give my regards to your family. Tell your wife we said thank you so much for loaning you to us for this short time. But thank you for coming on.
It's my pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, Kristen, how you feeling?
A little overwhelmed.
Okay.
I have a lot of questions. I just obviously wasn't prepared, but I feel good, and especially with him being in Chicago, I'm super excited about that because that's one of the things that's really holding me back is just the I just need to work on the technical aspect of it, and hopefully he'll be able to help with some of that.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Kristen, I went to your website and took a look at it, and at first I thought those were like not real photos. That they were, to me, they were so good. Now I'm just saying what looks good to me. I was like, did Kristen take these? Because these almost look like, I'm like, if she took these are really fabulous photos. You took all of those?
Every single one of them, yes.
Okay, because I pay for stock photos through Shutterstock, and those look very high quality photos, like those I would have paid, and I pay through the nose every month for those photos. So very, very quality photos. I don't have any doubt about your skills and capabilities. So I want you to face your fears, but relax about them a little bit because you're doing the right things.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
So congratulations. And thank you for doing your homework. It was very well thought out. I took a look at that as well. We don't have time to go through it now because we gave you Carl, but I did take a look at it. We did take a look at all the assignments, and everything looks really very good. So thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, next up, we have the hopeful, Lynn. Lynn, come on down. So meet Lynn. Lynn is our HR professional with 14 years experience in the government sector. She was displaced in 2021, and she is seeking corporate stability in a C-suite position, earning a $200,000 a year salary. Now, her pink elephant goal specifically is earning $200,000 as a VP of compensation and benefits for a healthcare or cannabis company located in the Pacific Northwest or coastal area. Her homework assignment for episode 1 was to identify 10 to 20 healthcare and cannabis companies within the Pacific Northwest or coastal areas. And she wasn't here last week, but she was, because she had a migraine and she was out sick, but she was to identify and follow professional individuals on LinkedIn who work at the listed companies in HR or who are already in her network, and to ultimately set up 3 15-minute informational interviews with those identified individuals. So what we're going to do, because you weren't here, is talk very specifically about your list that you created. And so I've got the list right here. And I am going to start with so the cannabis companies.
Yes.
Am I reading this? Okay, so tell me about, because I see healthcare companies and cannabis companies. So Nectar Markets LLC.
Yes.
Golden Leaf Holdings.
Yes.
Wild, WYLD, Wild. That sounds like a fun place to work.
They all have very unique names, yes.
Yes, they do. Fat Panda. And then you got Northwest Hospital and Medical Center.
Yes, you wouldn't think that was a cannabis company. You'd think that would be a healthcare organization, but it is actually in the cannabis industry. They deal with the medical side of cannabis.
Okay, well, that is an impressive list of cannabis companies, and then you have an equally impressive list of about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 healthcare companies, many of which we've heard of course, Delta, Dental, Guardian, MetLife, Pacific Source, Molina, Humana, Kaiser, Cigna, Aetna, so all of the big ones, right?
Yes.
So you've drawn up this list and you know that they have offices specifically in the Pacific Northwest area or coastal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Have you had an opportunity to set up any or follow anybody or find anybody to set up any informational interviews with yet?
I have not been able to set up informational interviews, but I have connected with individuals from all of these companies on LinkedIn, and I did find several of them already in my network that I was connected to and was following. So I've been reaching out, trying to get those interviews set up. So hopefully in the next 2-week period, we will get those interviews set up.
Wonderful. So what questions do you want to ask these individuals?
The first question I want to ask is, what path did they take to get to those positions? Whether they started in that field, whether they started with that company. I've noticed in a lot of their history, in their career history, a lot of times they didn't start in that company. So, is there another industry, another company that they would recommend starting at? How they would recommend that, not being in that area now, that I could make connections to get into that area without being there to start. And what their recommendations are for connecting with people in the company, in the HR department, so that I can find a position, how I can connect with a coastal organization. Should I be looking more inland for a position and hope to transfer to a coastal position? Obviously, I live not coastal. I'm in Michigan right now. Do I start with the same level of position I'm looking for, but closer to where I am now, with the hopes of moving to a coastal area position from within an organization? Is that a better goal than going specifically for that level position in the area that I'm looking for?
All great questions. And one that I heard you say, and I really want to make sure that in order for you to keep the interaction with new connections going, is each person that you have a chance to talk with, ask them if they can recommend at least 2 to 3 other people that you can talk to as well. And if they would be willing to make a LinkedIn introduction. And I'm suggesting that not just for you, Lynn, but for everyone on here who is trying to get into a certain area. When you have these informational interviews, one of the things you should use the time doing is asking if there are any other people that they can recommend that you can talk to, and if they will make the introduction for you. Ask for 2 or 3. Ask for 3. They may give you 2. They may give you 1, but don't just say, is there anyone? No. Ask for, can you provide me with the names of at least 3 individuals that I can also connect with? And would you be willing to make that introduction via, LinkedIn for me?
Thank you. I will definitely do that.
So that's a great question. And then what I also want with Career 2.0 is taking a step back and looking at your resume and how the resume has any transferable skills that will take you from what the work that you've done in the past, which was government relations or working for the government, right? And how do we transfer those skills over to the cannabis or the healthcare industry to show that you can do that kind of work. So what I'd like for your homework assignment, in addition to setting up these informational interviews, is to also pull together your resume so we can take a look at the transferable skills that you may have, and identifying any possible gaps, right? Because at the end of the day, HR is HR. Right, Tiffany?
Yep. That's
regardless as to what industry you're in, right?
That's right.
And so you want to be in HR for the cannabis or the healthcare industry, but there may be some skill knowledge that's very conducive to the healthcare or cannabis industry itself, not your skill set, but just industry knowledge that may help you get in with one of these types of companies. So I just want to make sure you've got transferable skills, because sometimes I remember when I was trying to move from the nonprofit sector to the paid profit sector, as I like to say, to the for-profit sector, I was afraid that people didn't think I had the skills necessary. Although I did communications and public relations. Public relations and communications is public relations and communications, regardless as to what you're doing it for. But I still had an entire transferable skills section so that people didn't get hung up on where I was. They saw my skills.
Okay, that makes sense.
So if you're looking in the area, you talked about, making sure that you have identified those as transferable skills so they can easily see, well, she's got the experience doing this, call it out so that they don't have to pile through your resume to see it.
Okay.
What other questions do you have for me today that I might be able to help you with?
How do you get through when you've been interviewing and all you're getting back are thank you but no thank you? I've had 6 interviews in the last 10 days and have gotten nothing but thank you but no thank you.
Okay, so that tells me it's not your resume that's the problem. It's what's going on in the interview. So what we need to do is we need to do a mock interview.
Okay.
So I'm going to need to find somebody to do a mock interview with you who is in that industry, who's in the healthcare industry, and do a mock interview with you.
Okay.
Because clearly, if the resume is getting you in the door, and understand this, you all, your resume is like a calling card. The only job it does for you is it gets you in the door. And it tells people, hey, I've got experience and value that I can bring to the table. I just need to talk the rest of the way through. So what is missing is you're not able to connect either based on what they're asking you, or there's a disconnect because you had a lot of interviews, and that's a good thing. But if it's not converting over, your conversion rate is really low, and we need to find out why.
Okay.
So there's a Jeff Altman on LinkedIn. You may want to follow him, Altman. He does a lot of coaching on how to really sell yourself in an interview. And we interviewed him. He came on and coached in season 1. And I will make sure you get a copy of that link to watch Jeff's suggestion. One of the things that Jeff was very clear about is the answers to your interview questions, ladies. You shouldn't be hearing them for the very first time coming out of your mouth when you're interviewing. So you want to make sure you have answers that are pretty much prepped and ready to go that you think you may be asked, and ready for those. and how to use stories. And there are several acronyms like SOAR, and there are a lot of different ways to answer interview questions. So we need to get you someone who can coach you on your interviewing skills. And Tiffany, you're in HR. Do you do any interviewing, or is that the part of HR that you're in?
Yes, I do a lot of interviewing, and yeah, I definitely agree with you. The resume gets you in the door, and it's really what you say in the interview that kind of seals the deal for you. So yeah, if you want to do some mock interviewing, I'm open to helping you, or I'm sure there are people that we can reach out to that can help with mock interviewing, because you really want to be comfortable during the interview.
Well, and you strike me as being a comfortable person, Lynn, right? Like you come across very easygoing.
And that's the thing. I don't think I've ever had a problem interviewing. I mean, I've always used the STAR interviewing, methodology: situation, task, action, result. I was taught that, I don't know, at the beginning of my career. I'll say that. I won't say how long ago that was. But it's been really challenging the last couple of weeks, thinking that I had all these opportunities, and then 24 hours later, we've decided to go with another candidate, or you've not made it to the next round. And it's like,
are you asking why?
I am. I've asked for feedback, and a lot of recruiters these days won't even respond to a request for feedback.
Why is that, Tiffany? Because that really sucks. And I hear that all the time.
I hear it all the time too, and I really don't like it, to be honest. But oftentimes, especially right now, recruiters are so inundated that it's just barely time to just let you know, sorry, no, you're not the successful candidate. We've decided to go with someone else, and you should continue your search elsewhere. But it's really unfortunate. But I would say, if you can, Lynn, when you're in these interviews, if you could try to make sure that the person interviewing knows that you're interviewing them as well. So it's not just question, answer, it's more of a conversation. I think that helps to kind of probably display all of your experience and your talent and your know-how. I think that would be a great way to show them more of you.
Okay.
Yeah, I always say, and Alex, you are just starting out. You are a newbie down there who's never had the first professional job opportunity yet. And you're just coming into the throes of this. And it's always important to make sure that you are interviewing the interviewer as much as they are interviewing you, because you want to make sure this is a good fit. Lynn, if you're about to uproot from Michigan and go out northwest, young woman, you want to make sure that you're going to be out there happy. And Alex, you want to make sure that with your first job, it's one that you are looking forward to going into every day and learning from, and staying a couple of years at least to get that foundational experience. So making sure that you don't get into the situation and then 3 months down the line, it's like, this is not what I signed up for. And you want to bail, and then you got to start that process all over again, and you're back out there on that treadmill. Nobody wants to be out there looking for a job.
No.
I don't know anybody that said, ooh, I'm job hunting. Best time ever. Never know anybody that say that. So what we want to do is we just want to make sure that we get you some mock interviews, so you're feeling comfortable, and that you take a look at Jeff's video that he did with us.
Okay, great.
Okay, it's a good list. Continue to try to cultivate individuals who are at those companies, and see if we can get some of those informational interviews set up for you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, that's your homework assignment. You good?
I'm good.
Great. All righty. Alex, you're next. Alex actually graduated from Purdue University. Woo-ha! Bull her up. In 2021. with a BS in animal sciences and is seeking the first professional role ever. Now, Alex's Pink Elephant goal is seeking an entry-level role working with animals in the pet or veterinarian industry, making. Alex, did we decide what you wanted to be making?
I would say, I don't know, maybe like $20 an hour sounds good to me.
So, okay, we're not going to do based on what sounds good. We're going to do it based on what research says the market value should be for an entry-level job in this industry. So $20 an hour times 40 hours a week is $800 a week, times 4 is $3,200 a month, times 12 months is $38,400. And you did do your homework last week, and there was salary ranges that you had identified that they ranged from 33,000, I think, up to 96, depending on what those jobs were. I think the top of the range was a veterinarian itself at 96, 98. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. So you tell me about your homework assignment for this week, which was to, let me find it again because you just disappeared, which was to identify open position titles from companies on your list, because you had a very, very robust list the last time we met. It was a great list. And then identify and follow individuals on LinkedIn who work in these positions and set up 3 15-minute informational interviews. So tell me how your homework went.
I ran into a bit of an obstacle with the LinkedIn stuff. Just because I had just created my LinkedIn profile for this homework. And so every time that I found someone to follow that was in a position that I wanted to be in, it kept telling me that my network, they weren't within my network, so I couldn't follow them. So I was kind of confused on what to do with that. Other than that, I identified openings with the companies that I had looked at. And I was actually surprised to see how many openings there were, because I have been applying to jobs and I hadn't seen any of these openings on like Indeed or anything like that. So it gave me some more stuff to apply to, so that was cool. As far as the informational interviews, I set them up to do this weekend. So I haven't actually done them yet, but I called around to different veterinary offices to interview their veterinary receptionist, because that's the job that I'm looking to have. And at 3 different places, the receptionists were very receptive and said that I could call back on their next shift. So that was
great. And so what kinds of questions do you want to ask the receptionists?
I think I want to ask how they got to that position. So like what they were doing previously and what made them stand out as a candidate for that job, because I can imagine there's a lot of people applying and not many hear back. So like, why them? Yeah, I think I'll have to think of some more, but that's probably where I would start. And
okay, no, that's really good. I would also think about maybe asking if they have aspirations to go beyond being, if they have aspirations about going beyond being the receptionist, and if so, what's the career path look like?
Okay.
So that you'll know, like and maybe they'll share, well, in this office, you can go from receptionist to tech to whatever. Like, do you have to have a college degree to be a receptionist? So, like just trying to find out if there's a career path for a receptionist and what that looks like, so that you'll have an idea. Again, that's a part of the interviewing process when you're interviewing the hiring manager at the veterinarian or whatever the hospital or whatever it is that you're interviewing. What's the career track? What's the career path? If I come in as a receptionist, what can I do next? What can I grow into? I started my job off as a typesetter, people, a typesetter. A typesetter. I did not go to school for 4 years to become a typesetter, which is basically a virtual typist who turns signs into like blue jeans, 5-pocket blue jeans, $14.99, regular $29.99, on sale $14.99. That I wrote that. That was the copy that I wrote. Compelling stuff, right? But it was a great stepping stone into the copywriting position. And that's why I took the job. So making sure that you ask that. Now, there was a pause volunteer application that you put in one of our episodes. Have you heard about that yet?
I haven't, and I've been meaning to call to follow up with that because I feel like I should have heard back by now. But yeah, at this time, I haven't heard anything.
Okay. So the one thing about job searching, all of y'all, is you gotta be persistent. And the easiest way to remember to do it, because your days are going to fly by, you're so busy filling out applications and starting to interview that you get excited about the job that you're interviewing for, that you may forget to follow up on the others. So I really suggest keeping either some kind of a real simple spreadsheet. It doesn't have to be complicated. It just needs to be one column that talks about where it was. So the Paws, PAWS is the name of the shelter. And then what you did, you filled out a job application, when you did it, on the date, and when you're going to follow it up. And so you put that follow-up date in your calendar. And it's as simple as, hey, Siri, or whoever you're talking to in your house, Alexa, whoever you're talking to, set an appointment. Remind me to follow up with Paws. 312, blah, 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 blah. And that way it's done and you don't have to think about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you sending thank you letters, Lynn, to everybody that you interview with? Good. Very good. Alex and Tiffany, as you do this as well, I want you to send thank you letters. Kristen, when you have these meetings and interviews with individuals who are just helping you with information, send them thank you. Handwritten notes are really great. What I will suggest is when you're new on LinkedIn, because you're just out of school, I'm going to have to, you didn't invite me to be your connection, did you?
I don't think so.
Okay. So invite me. And when you don't have any connections, because you're new, start with Purdue. Go in and put Purdue in the search engine.
Okay.
And if you put in Purdue, it will give you a list of people who have graduated from Purdue.
Okay.
They're going to accept you.
Okay.
And one of the things that you may also do, especially if you start with Purdue and start with people who majored in veterinarian services or animal services or whatever at Purdue, type in, I'm new to LinkedIn. I just graduated from college, looking to make some connections. Would you mind connecting with me?
Okay.
Send a note. And sometimes if because right now I think you're only seeing 3s, LinkedIn gives you how connected you are. If you're connected with somebody already, it's a 1. If somebody who knows you is connected, like one of my friends, if you and I connect and one of my friends is there, then you're 2. If we don't have anybody in common and we're not connected, we're 3.
Okay.
So they won't let me even connect just with a 3. I have to inbox someone in order to get into their ability to connect with them. So what you're going to do is connect with me. That'll give you some other Purdue connections. I'll also see if I can make some connections online for you so that, you start getting names of people that you can connect with and start growing that number. Start with your alma mater, Purdue.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Good.
I can do that.
Okay. Thank you. All right, last but not least is Tiffany. Tiffany is our rising star, and our rising star is actually someone who has been with the company for a while and is interested in getting a promotion. So Tiffany is an HR professional specializing in operations and diversity. With 15 years of work experience. In the last 3 years, Tiffany has been working for a luxury retail brand. Tiffany's Pink Elephant goal is seeking a promotion to manager level in the luxury retail brand, alcohol and spirits and sports entertainment industry in New York, earning $125,000. Her homework assignment this past week was to identify open job positions from companies on her list and to identify and follow diversity practitioners on LinkedIn. And in your one-on-one follow-up with Kwani, because you were coached last week with Kwani, who was also our rising star in season 2 and who is working in the luxury spirits sector, to ask for networking referrals. And then just set up 3 15-minute informational interviews with those identified. So tell me, Tiffany, what did you accomplish?
So I was able to contact some individuals who do the work that I'm interested in. I heard back from 2 people. I have not spoken to them yet. So I plan on, they asked me to put time on their calendar for next week, which sounds good. So I plan on actually reviewing today's session to kind of come up with some questions, like the questions that Carl was kind of, starting to generate with Kristen. I thought those were kind of helpful questions that could be used across industry and across, roles. So I did that. Also, I was able to speak to a diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant, 2 of them, and they really helped me to get some more information on how to really drill down further in my search for a role. So what I discovered is that I'm probably interested specifically in talent acquisition as it relates to diversity.
So we even more narrowly defined and focused that goal. I love it. Tell me why.
Right, because I'm really, and this even goes, which was some of the light bulbs that were going off when you were speaking with Lynn and then also with Alex, is that I'm really interested in people moving into the roles that they really, really want to do. And not just external candidates coming in, but also helping internal candidates to move up. So even when you were speaking with Alex about the receptionist, I thought about maybe there were people who came in only wanting to be a receptionist. Maybe, they had a life change and they kind of want something that's a little easier going. And then I also thought about the candidates who were receptionists and decided to move up. And so I'm really interested in that career mapping, which is work that I've done before, but specifically as it relates to diversity.
So great that you narrowed it down. What does this do for your strategy? How are you going to change the strategy now? What's that look like?
So that looks like looking at contacts specifically on LinkedIn, my connections on LinkedIn, who have talent acquisition as a part of their tag or a part of their role, specifically talent acquisition, and then looking to see how I can bring diversity to those roles. So like we discussed last week, some companies don't explicitly say that they have a diversity department, but everyone has an HR department. And so now I can look at HR departments, and if they don't have a diversity team, I can create, like we discussed last week, I can talk to them about creating a role around talent acquisition that's specifically geared toward diversity.
Great. And You know how to do the search. Everybody knows how to do the search on LinkedIn to make sure, like, if Tiffany is going after talent acquisition, she can literally type in talent acquisition for titles in LinkedIn. Alex, you can type in vet services, receptionist, or whatever. You can type in those titles.
Yep.
and it will show you, okay, individuals with those titles. So that's why sometimes, and there are like, I forget, 100 billion jagillion people on LinkedIn. I don't know the exact number. So you're still going to find a large number of photographers, of community folks, of HR, talent acquisition, whatever it is that you're looking for.
Yes.
All right, let me think if there's anything else, Tiffany. So in terms of talent acquisition and your existing resume, are there any skill gaps?
There are a couple of skill gaps, probably skills that I haven't used as much more recently. So because I've been doing cross-functional work, which means that I kind of know a little bit of everything. Right now, what I'm going to focus on, in addition to working on a Coursera course that Kwani so kindly sent me, I'm also going to brush up on like my basic recruiting skills that I haven't used that much of recently. So I'll do some of that, including like going through doing mock interviews, doing some work with onboarding, and that kind of stuff.
Okay, great. And everybody, I think we shared on our last episode what Coursera was. So if you go to Coursera.com, it offers all kinds of classes that are offered by various universities and institutions, many of them for free. If you want a certification that goes along with it, you can actually pay, I think, $47 and get a certificate. Lynn, I think I was on there earlier today with another client and I saw some cannabis stuff on there. So it might be worth pursuing and taking a look at. All right, we are running out of time. We went a little bit over because we started a little bit late, but I want to know, is there anybody else who has a question that they need me to answer before they go off? Are you all clear on what your homework assignment is?
No, I'm not sure. Was it just to connect with?
Oh yeah, you're connecting with Carl, and you are, if you didn't have, you had 2 conversations I saw with individuals who told you how they did their rates, how they set their rates.
Yes, correct.
So we need to get you shooting.
Yeah.
So your homework is schedule, and I love Carl's suggestions, so make sure you have that meeting with him, but do a call out and get some folks out. And sometimes you got to give away stuff for free in order to get where you want to be.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. Great. Anybody else? Okay. All right, ladies. I will see you next episode, same time, same place. Hopefully somebody's going to be getting the boot soon, and have a great week, and we will see you then. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Check out the progression of all of our participants at Cheryl's channel of Fabulosity on YouTube, or learn more about the coaching programs and services we offer at IamCherylGrace.com. This has been a Powerful Penny LLC Pink Elephant production.